How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about Lucid Group. Like I was talking about in my previous video, we're looking forward to seeing a move to $50. It looked like we were going to get there today. There was a lot of excitement in the EV sectors as far as for the infrastructure bill being passed, and you could see a lot of stocks were able to benefit from this. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. It's important to know those key levels. As far as the chart is concerned, there's some things I want to bring to your attention, so make sure you check that out. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. The reason why the short interest is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for Lucid. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $45.92, being up 9.86%. On the low, it tested $43.04, and then on the high, testing $47.87. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 153.751 million shares, and then for the average volume over 10 trading days, being at 124.921 million shares. So right away, we ended up having above average volume on the day, and we also ended up seeing some strength in Lucid stock. We talked about this in the previous video. We wanted to see that move getting close to $50, and again, the week is still early. When we take a look at our chart, which is a 1-year daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right at 84.97, so it is right in that overbought territory, quite on that uptrend. And then when we take a look at the moving averages we have here on our chart, we have strength above the 100-day, the 50-day, the 200-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. So one thing that is very clear, Lucid has continued its trajectory to the upside. And one of the things that we have to take a look at, we had some resistance here right at $47.87. So going into tomorrow, this would be the level we'd want to actually pass. If we're able to pass this, then I'm looking forward to seeing that test going to $50 and then seeing where we can go from there. Now, if we do decide to pull back on the low of the day, it was around $43.04. So we want to see an improvement there. So instead, I would love to see us hold support right at the $44 level going into the open. I feel if we are able to do this, then of course we can look forward to seeing a strong spike, a good move. Another thing also you want to keep in mind of the fact we do have a bit of a gap here. So we have the gap starting right here around $41.92, and also to fill that in would be at $43.05. So even if we do pull back here and fill in this gap, I think it could still give us some more room to where we could see a move to the upside as well. So I wanted to make sure I brought that to your attention. So let's see how Lucid performs for the rest of the weekend as well as for tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for Lucid. So scrolling down on the page, green rows indicate new positions while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look for November the 8th, we have one closed position here from Plant Moran Financial Advisors LLC, and this was filed on November the 8th. And as far as the other dates and as far as the other filings, we've already went over them. And then when we take a look now at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 34.70%, and then for the dark pool short volume being just over 22.9 million shares. Scrolling down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 3.2 1.2 million updated just now. And then for the short ball fee rate, it is at 0.56%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, we could see for the close of the 4th, which was last week Thursday, it was at 37.65. And then for the close of the 5th, which was last week Friday, being at 34.70. So it did go down a bit. So it'll be very interesting to see what the numbers will be later on in the evening. But one thing we do know for a fact, Lucid does continue to have short squeeze potential. We normally look for 21% or higher, and it still continues to fulfill that criteria, and it's part of the reasons why traders are keeping this on watch so they can make money for the short term. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for Lucid. So we can see here on the inflow is 1,527, and then on the outflow it was 1,549. So we actually ended up having an outflow day. When we take a look at the breakdown, you can see for the large it was 5.98. Keep in mind this is in the millions. And then on the medium it was 812, and then on the small it was 709. When we take a look at the outflow side, on the large it was 5.80, and then on the medium it was 846, and then on the small it was 697. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, 5 straight days of inflows, and for today ended up being 0.19. So when we take a look further at the breakdown, what we could see on the small scale side, which tends to represent the retail side, we could see we had more buying than we had selling, but it was still fairly close. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more selling than we had buying, but again the demand was still there. And then when we take a look at what happened on the large, as you could see clearly, we had more institutions potentially loading up on more shares than we had selling. So again, not too bad whatsoever. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 9.51%. So this is definitely a good look here for Lucid. That is fairly low, and what that tells us, there are many who are holding on to their shares. We do have a good amount of traders coming into the play, but again, you can't deny the fact that the turnover ratio is fairly low. So I know I'm going to get that question. So if I want to invest in Lucid right now, due to the fact that many people are holding shares, should I get in right now? And the answer is no. As far as for traders, there's many opportunities in here, and I say you should not even hesitate to take advantage of it. So now let's jump into the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for Lucid, let me just set the record straight before I actually get into it. There are many people that come to the channel thinking that I'm hating on Lucid, and that is not the case. What my focus is to make sure I'm giving valuable information to traders and as well as investors. As far as investors are concerned, it is not a good idea to be buying at the current prices, and I'm going to stand by that. And as far as for traders now, there's a lot of opportunities if you haven't taken advantage of it already. Another thing that we also had to benefit from was the infrastructure bill. We saw a lot of stocks that were running up that were related. You saw this in the EV sector. You could also notice this in the material sector, and also stocks like Caterpillar on the Dow, they started seeing a resurgence as well. So just keeping this all in mind and knowing what's going on in the outside market, of course this added fuel to the fire to help out Lucid. But one thing that I'm not ignoring, we did have the technical setup to get to $50, and that is not done yet. We still have the ability to do that sometime this week. Hey, it could possibly even happen tomorrow. I am not guaranteeing that. But one thing that is very clear, even looking at the technicals, we do have a gap on the chart. And like I say on this channel many times, gaps are meant to be filled. Are we going to be filling in that gap before we make that move to 50? That would be the more ideal situation. If we just go straight up to 50, at some point that gap needs to be filled. I want to make sure I'm being very clear about that, and that's why this stock can be very volatile. When we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it still continues to have short squeeze potential as well. So if you have a lot of demand and there's a lot of buying pressure coming into the play, along with many who are still holding on to their positions, you could see some strong moves to the upside, and it's another reason why it creates a great opportunity opportunity for traders. So I'm looking forward to seeing how Lucid performs going into tomorrow and as well as for the rest of the week, and I will continue to keep you guys updated. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll be talking real soon.